All right, let's get started. On May 19th, 2025, a notice of this meeting was transmitted to the Board of Education, and a copy of the notice was posted at the Education Center bulletin board. Copies were also transmitted to the Millburn Short Hills Item, the Star Ledger, the Millburn Short Hills Independent Press, and the Township Clerk. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, minutes. May I have a motion and a second to approve the following BOE minutes? Ms. Speltz, Mr. Farashudin can second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Bigman.
Yes.
Mr. Farashudin.
Yes.
Mr. Lawrence.
Yes.
Ms. Longley Richards.
Yes.
Ms. Speltz.
Yes.
Ms. Shivani.
Yes.
Mr. Heinrichs.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you. Moving right into presentations. Dr. Diskin, will you introduce the presenters?
So good evening. Tonight we have a presentation that we do yearly, talks about our harassment, intimidation, and bullying, sort of gives an idea of the framework. And also during this report, we'll be reporting out on the SSDS, which is the safety report that we do each year that talks about the different criteria that we use to identify students for the New Jersey Department of Education's report called SSDS.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you. We titled this presentation this evening, Fostering a Safe and Respectful School Community. And during this presentation, I'll be reviewing our HIB overview. I'll be discussing the SSDS report, as well as the awareness initiatives that we have taking place in the district. So as we'll start out with the HIB, and this portion of the presentation does align with district goal number 2 as we think about like standardized operating procedures, as well as goal 3, where we're talking a little bit about our SEL, social emotional learning programming, as we kind of look at this through the lens of bigger district goals. Just to review this year, our school anti-bullying specialists are Shannon Dassay, May Ward, Jennifer Baldessari, Patricia Policastro, Jennifer Baldessari in Glenwood for a second time. In Hartshorn, we have Kim Bastari for a second time. In South Mountain, Kim as well. And in Wyoming, Patricia Policastro is our assistant principal and HIB specialist. So what is HIB? And the state of New Jersey has defined that very clearly for us. So I'm just going to walk through what the definition is, because I think it really does frame out the rest of this presentation. But according to NJSA 18A:37-14, harassment, intimidation, or bullying means any gesture, any written, verbal, or physical act, or electronic communication, whether it be a single incident or series of incidents that, and then we get into the different prongs. And in order for it to be classified harassment, intimidation, and bullying underneath the legislation that I just spoke to you about, it needs to meet these 4 prongs. Is reasonably perceived as being motivated either by an actual or perceived characteristic, such as race, color, religion, ancestry, national origin, gender, sexual orientation, gender identity, and expression, or mental, physical, or sensory disability, or by any other distinguishing characteristic. That's prong 1. And must meet that takes place on school property, at any school-sponsored function, on a school bus, or off school grounds, and must meet the 3rd prong, that substantially disrupts or interferes with the orderly operation of the school or the rights of another student, and must meet the 4th prong. And then there are 3 options underneath that. A reasonable person should know under the circumstance that the act will have the effect of physically or emotionally harming a student or damaging the student's property or placing a student in reasonable fear of physical or emotional harm to his person or damage to his property, or B, the act has the effect of insulting or demeaning any student or group of students, or C, the act creates a hostile educational environment for the student by interfering with the student's education or severely or pervasively causing physical or emotional harm to the student. So in order for us to meet the threshold of harassment, intimidation underneath this law, we do need to find and affirm that all four prongs have been met, with the third one meeting one of the three options that are listed there. So sometimes we get confused with what is HIB and what is code of conduct. And this is just a very brief overview of, the difference between what HIB would be and what code of conduct would be. HIB, meeting the criteria, bullying, very specific definition as I just reviewed, should not be used to describe all conflicts, and it rises to the level of the state's definition. Conflict or code of conduct, students are expected to maintain the appropriate conduct at all times and follow the school's code of conduct, follow school and classroom rules as outlined, and social conflicts with wrong choices are not always meeting that threshold of harassment, intimidation, and bullying. We have a very clear and defined process here at Millburn Township Public Schools, and it starts with the reporting. We have our reporting mechanism on our district website underneath the HIB page, and I will show you that in a moment. But it can also be reported to any school official, and that school official will take the appropriate action. The school principal then informs the parent of the alleged victim and the aggressor. The school anti-bullying specialist will conduct an investigation. The notification is made at the end of the investigation to the superintendent through the principal's form and the investigation report. The Board of Education at the first meeting, upon being submitted to the Board of Education, the board reviews the HIB summary report. Notifications are then sent to the parents of both the aggressors and the victim, and then the parents may request the opportunity to meet in front of the Board of Education to discuss the situation surrounding the incident. And then at the second Board of Education meeting, the Board of Education will affirm or reject the superintendent's recommendation. Important to note that the superintendent is making a recommendation to the board affirms the HIB. And then the second letter goes out, and that affirms the decision of the Board of Education at that point. So just from a processing issue, we have it right here on our district website, as I mentioned before, with the green arrow pointing to where a parent or a staff member can quickly click to that and make their way to what we call the state's 338 form, which is the reporting form or reporting mechanism for HIB. And we have taken on a new service this year. We're working with a company called Hibster, and Hibster is a widely used comprehensive software tool designed to track the HIB process and streamline the reporting process, not only for an individual that wants to report an HIB, but for internally as we begin to process. It will house all of our HIB information. No longer are we using, just generated documents. Now we're using a process, and it actually triggers the timelines and things to go forward. We've been very happy with the software so far. And again, as I mentioned, it's very widely used in the state of New Jersey. And so, this is going to be a big upgrade for us as we're working through this and making it more streamlined. So now that I've explained what HIB is and how we here in Millburn have our process in place to handle it, I would like to kind of transition this presentation into the Student Safety Data System, otherwise known as the SSDS report. And this is a summary of harassment, intimidation, and bullying investigations, training programs, and it includes our report of violence and vandalism during this reporting period. As I mentioned, this is we report out on this twice a year. This is our second reporting period for the school year. And this report will include the total number of incidents reported at each school, the status of all investigations, the type of discipline imposed, and the trainings that have taken place to keep our staff up to date, and current with practices and procedures. So, in January of 2018, Public Law 2017, Chapter 291 established the requirements for us to report out on restraints and seclusions. And during this reporting period, between January 1st and June 30th, the district had 2 restraints at Hartshorn, and there were no other restraints reported or taken place. And so that was our report on restraints. As we move into reporting of violence, vandalism, substance, and weapons, as you can see, as on a total, we had 2 reports of violence, one taking place at the high school and one taking place at Hartshorn, and we had 1 report of substance abuse, and that was at the high school. We had no other reportings of vandalism or weapons during this reporting period. The reporting period of January 1 through June 30, 2025, the nature of HIBs included but not limited to the race and ethnic origin, gender identity, ancestry, mental, physical, sensory, disability, appearance, color, religion, sexual orientation. And then the remediation disciplines, including but not limited to, are parent contact, student conference, support services, student counseling, referral and therapy, treatment, denial of privileges, lunch detentions, and suspensions. As we look at that, what does that look like across the district? We had 5 confirmed HIBs, 4 taking place at the middle school, 2 taking place at the at Hartshorn School, and 1 at the Glenwood School. So, and if I'm doing my math right, that might be an error on there. And then we had 4 incidences that were leading to other removals at the middle school, and then we had HIB alleged allegations. We had 8 total in the district. And then as part of this reporting period, we also have to do a self-assessment. And so each school and each principal is asked to assess their school's progress and efficiency with the things that are required by the state. And so they are asked to rate themselves underneath 8 core elements, the first being HIB programming, the second being the training that takes place, other staff instruction and training programs that take place in their building, the curriculum instruction on HIB and related information and skills. Core 6 is the school level HIB incident reporting procedures, the core element and HIB investigation procedures, and then the last one being HIB reporting. And so within these, there are all indicators underneath them. And so if you look in the blue box, the blue and white box, the first one with just 1 column, that will represent the scores for this year, with Deerfield scoring 66, Glenwood scoring 66, Hartshorn scoring 75, South Mountain School scoring 74, Wyoming scoring 73, Washington scoring 74, MMS scoring 77, and MHS scoring 75. When you look on the right and you look at the chart on the right, you can see a 5-year historical look back on how we've done on our HIB scoring. And as you know, the big takeaway from this is that each year the schools have gotten better. And I think that speaks to the commitment that the district has had in the programming, the type of assemblies that they brought in, our commitment to trying to put counselors in the buildings. It all lays into what we're doing as a district to help prevent incidences that would be in alignment with what the definition of harassment, intimidation, and bullying is. So, kudos to our principals and all the efforts of our staff and HIB specialists in each building, because they really are working hard to, raise those scores up. What we are doing with these scores now is we'll take the scores, we'll go back to the principals, And we're going to begin to put together action plans so that we continue to see some growth from year to year to year. So this is just a great visual of the growth that we've had over the course of the year. And just some of the training that take place, anti-bullying specialists, the roles and responsibilities, a webinar that they participated in. There's also professional development at the building level with school climate and culture improvements. They also had anti-bullying rights training and conflict resolution. They had peer relationships and social norms training. And there's also then the school safety teams that meet, the school safety and climate teams that meet. And what they do is they look at the data and they talk about the incidents that take place during the reporting periods within each school. And then they look at trends and things, and they build a roadmap to try to prevent those from happening. And just, so as part of the state's commitment to creating the culture and climate in each school, the state has designated the first week in October as, the Week of Respect. And as you take a look at what is the Week of Respect, it's part of the Anti-Bullying Rights Act that was designated. And for this year, it was October 6th through the 10th. And the week supports the school safety and climate teams in promoting positive school environments. We try to create age-appropriate instruction, assembly programs that come in, speakers that come in and speak to our students from around the district, and the school counselors push in and do lessons that support, the kind of climate and culture that we are having, we desire to have in our schools. And this is just a quick scan through of some of the activities that were taking place in each building. While they are all following the theme of a Week of Respect, they all have their own little flavor, and they add their own little flair with their theme around it. But in Deerfield, it's Be a Leader. In Wyoming, it's the Week of Respect. And some of these are very similar. They're following a very similar roadmap, and you can see there's assembly, there's programs, there's activities all based around supporting the right kind of climate. At Glenwood, they had assemblies. Let's go back one. At Hartshorn and South Mountain, they are sister schools. They kind of aligned their theme here. And so they followed a similar type of themed week, and they had their own spin to it. And at Washington, they also had a themed week where they're highlighting, that positive culture within the building. At the middle schools, similarly, they had speakers, they had activities, and at the high school, they did age-appropriate things like, the kind of culture and climate breakfast, therapy dogs, donation for Week of Respect and things like that. And then finally, just to close out this presentation, I want to highlight a second themed week in the month of October, which is the National Red Ribbon Week. And just for those that don't know, it's the official week that they highlight every year. It's like against drug-free America, and this year was from the 23rd to the 31st. The theme was Life is a Puzzle, Solving It Drug-Free. And why do we celebrate this? The campaign is the nation's largest and oldest drug prevention awareness program, encouraging communities to promote a drug-free lifestyle and honor the DEA agent Enrique Kiki Camarena, who died in the line of duty in 1985. And then we commemorate, this week by, celebrating Red Ribbon Week. And here's how it was celebrated from around the district. Elementary schools had a themed week that they shared. We're very lucky to have the Municipal Alliance in Millburn, who supports this for us and really supports a lot of the programming that takes place and helps to put together the week for us. And at each school, they just had different activities to highlight what was taking place and recognize the week of, Red Ribbon Week throughout Millburn. So I want to thank everybody for, their attention to this important information, and happy to take any questions.
Mr. Conley, thank you for the presentation. The self-assessment, is the numbers were getting lower? Is that how we read it? The lower the number, the better off the school is doing?
No, actually, the lower the number, it's out of 78.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's out of 78. So the higher your number was, the better your school
Oh,
did.
so you want to get a 78?
You want to get up, yeah,
Okay.
78 would be the max score that you could achieve.
Okay. So I do want to make a quick statement. This is a really important topic. And, I grew up in Boston, going to Boston Public Schools. We've come a long way. We've come a long way as a district and as a nation as well. Look, my kids went to Deerfield. There's a sign there. This is a bully-free zone. If you look at the number of incidences, we are there, or we're almost there. Obviously, if for the one or two instances, if your child is impacted, it's a very serious and grave matter for the families concerned. But I want to thank all the teachers, administrators, and staff members who are truly delivering a bully-free zone in our district. This is really important, and it resonates with me again as someone who grew up in the mean hallways of Boston Public Schools. I'll just leave it there.
Ms. Speltz?
I actually had the opportunity to serve on one of the school climate meeting teams, and I do recommend that if anybody ever has the opportunity to do it, they take that opportunity. It was an incredible chance to really learn so much about the inner workings of the process, and also to see all the amazing things that the schools do to kind of keep that climate as good as it is. Thank you.
All right, if there are no more questions, thank you, Mr. Connolly.
Great, thank you.
All right, moving on, Board President's Report. Just a couple things this evening. Tomorrow is Veterans Day. I'd like to thank all the veterans out there for their service. If you happen to see one, say thank you for your service. Secondly, the election results are still unofficial, but I want to extend my congratulations to Ms. Speltz, Jeff Kassam, and Wei Wei Huang for getting elected to the Board of Education. I think once they become official, Mr. Stars will reach out and start that whole process. I'd also like to thank Christian Germa and Gisela for putting themselves out there, running a good campaign, adding to the conversation, and I would encourage them to continue to be involved in some way, shape, or form in education, if not run again at some point in the future. Third, we continue our work on the fields, the high school fields in the background, developing that site a little further so we can extend the usefulness of it. We're putting on a joint information session between the township and the Board of Education on Thursday, November 20th. I think it's 7 p.m. Have we published? Coming up fast, the logistics on getting both of those groups together was a little bit challenging. So it's intended to be an informational session so we can start the discussion. You can see our plans. We can get feedback from the community on what we're thinking about. There may be some kind of preliminary work we kind of start doing that's not in anticipation of this getting approved. We want to have that full discussion. It's just to accelerate the timeline should it get approved. So no official action should be taken at that meeting, but please, everyone come out and get some information on what we want to do with the fields. And last but not least, on the agenda tonight, I'm proud to say, is the final approval of the contract with our teachers, the MEA. Spent a long time kind of dotting I's and crossing T's. To my knowledge, there wasn't any issues there. It was just getting every letter correct. So I bet Lois that I would wear a T-shirt when we finally got this thing signed. So I'm glad to be able to do that and support our teachers. I think that's all for me this evening. Dr. Diskin, your report.
All right, good evening. Our next step in the Millburn strategic planning process is going to take place on November 18th at 6:30 p.m. in the Millburn High School cafeteria. During this session, TMI will be guiding us into a deeper dive into the 5 core focus areas for the strategic plan, which are community and culture, finance and facilities, leadership and governance, safety and wellness, teaching and learning. These will explore again with a SWOT analysis, which equals our strengths, our weaknesses, what opportunities we have, and what potential threats lie within each. We are thrilled with this community's enthusiasm. More than 75 participants have already signed up. You need to RSVP to attend. The RSVP form is available on our strategic planning website on our main Millburn page. The form will close on Friday, November 14th. After this focus group, TMI will begin organizing the information gathered, develop the survey questions, and select through a lottery process the core planning teams for each focus area. Surveys will be distributed in December to all community members, parents, teachers, staff, and students, and core planning team meetings will begin in January. So be sure to check out that strategic planning website regularly for updates and opportunities to stay involved. And an update on Board of Education goal number 1, which is that by June 2026, they will establish an educational reporting calendar in collaboration with the superintendent. We are proud to share that on our website is a Board of Ed presentation calendar, which lists upcoming presentations, as well as a data dashboard, which are now available on the district webpage under About Us. These reports reflect our ongoing commitment to data-driven decision-making and continuous improvement across all of our schools. Please be sure to visit these new updates on our website. And along with that data dashboard, as always, the board presentation calendar is there, which is new in that it will list the upcoming presentations. You know, please note that sometimes they do change, but it kind of gives you a look and able to predict what kinds of things we're going to be talking about next. In addition, just so that everyone knows, we do share the presentation information out in advance on the fact that we're going to be having presentations in Miller Mail, Superintendent's newsletter, so you'll always know what's coming up. And again, as Mr. Heinrichs mentioned about Veterans Day, last week the Millburn High School PTO hosted a beautiful luncheon in honor of our local veterans, which I was fortunate to attend. It was truly meaningful to connect with these incredible individuals and hear about their stories of service and sacrifice. I want to extend a heartfelt thanks to the Millburn High School PTO for organizing such a thoughtful event and for their continued kindness and support for all members of our community. And as we observe Veterans Day tomorrow, we pause to honor and thank all of those who have served our nation. We are deeply grateful for their courage, their dedication, and the freedoms that they have protected for all of us. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Diskin. On to board committee reports. Are we set for a program? I thought it was Mr. Finkelstein. Yeah, he's stuck.
Do you want
All
me
right.
to read it?
Yeah, maybe we can loop back to that if no one's can jump in. Governance, you or Mr. Lawrence? Okay, this is Mr. Lawrence. Ms. Shivani, please.
Mr. Lawrence was not interrogating this time. Yeah, first of all, thank you, Mr. Heinrichs. You said to thank a veteran, so I'm officially thanking you as well. Thank you for your service. Okay, so the governance committee met on November 4th at 6 p.m. The board members present were Ms. Jennifer Badina, Ms. Abby Spells, Ms. Cynthia Longley-Richards, and myself, Priya Shivani. Staff present were Dr. Diskin, Mr. Conley, and Mr. Kyle Arlington. The committee did a first reading for the district's acceptable use of AI policy 2365, policy 2425, and policy 0174, which are being presented for first reading. Mr. Arlington walked the committee through the personnel report that is also being presented tonight for approval. Regarding AI, we did in the past share the Millburn AI implementation framework. Dr. Diskin has a printout here. We do encourage everyone to go to the school website and review that. And I do want to acknowledge some highlights from the policy. Obviously, everyone should read the full policy, but some of the highlights, the staff are required explicitly to share with students how to use AI in assignments, as referenced in the AI implementation framework, and to inform the students at the time of assignment the conditions in which AI may be used. The superintendent or designee and the AI coordinators in the district will approve the review of AI tools and maintain the process to ensure strategies will be implemented in the district to address any issues regarding student use of AI in assignments. Students may not use AI in a way that violates this policy or the district's code of conduct.
This is very important, and I encourage everyone to be familiar with the AI policy, especially from an ethical use and code of conduct perspective. Additionally, elementary and secondary student handbooks are being updated with language related to the AI implementation framework, so please review that. In addition to that, I want to provide a shout out to the policy audit team led by Ms. Terry Hecht for conducting a review of close to 200 mandatory policies. The team is collectively going to review a total of 561 policies, and this is being done to ensure that all these 500 plus policies that we have, some mandated and some developed by the district, are current and relevant. So thank you, Ms. Hecht, Dr. Diskin, Mr. Arlington, and Mr. Conley for supporting this effort. The meeting concluded at 7:10 p.m. Respectfully submitted, Priya Shivani. Thank you.
Any questions for governance?
Priya and for Cynthia, if you'd like to read the program.
Do you want to give it a try, Ms. Shivani?
Okay, program committee. The program committee met on Friday, October 31st at 1 p.m. Board members present were Andrew Finkelstein, Cynthia Longley-Richards, Priya Shivani, and Jennifer Bettina. Staff present were Dr. Kate Diskin, Mr. John Conley, Ms. Young, Ms. Martin, Ms. Graf, Ms. Abrams, and Ms. Alvarez. Mr. Conley reviewed enrollment data based on the October 15th reporting date in anticipation for a future report to the public. The numbers were preliminary and subject to review, but the focus of conversation was elementary school enrollment. Ms. Alvarez and the directors presented a draft version of the AP test permission policy. The district will not permit students to take exams for classes offered at Millburn if they are not enrolled in that class at any level. The committee suggested and the administration agreed that this would be allowed if they were in a lower level of that class. We then received a quick update on the dual enrollment program, which is moving forward toward completion and implementation with Seton Hall. The curriculum directors provided updates on grading and assessment at the high school. There were many conversations with teachers about assessment changes. As an example, from the math department, teachers had increased time, did item analysis to focus on difficult questions, and the best way to use those questions. Some ideas included removing those questions for group challenge exercises. Another department mentioned that there were very few assessments with averages below 84. The directors were also checking to ensure there were at least 2 summative exams in the first quarter. The administration planned to share the first quarter grading data in the coming week once it was available. We then briefly reviewed the changes to policy 5460, individual study options. There was another meeting that took place on November 5th at 2:30 p.m. Board member present were Andrew Finkelstein, Abby Spells, and Priya Shivani. Staff present were Dr. Kate Diskin and Mr. John Conley. The committee discussed policy 5460 and specifically the individualized student learning opportunities, policy changes, and reviewed several new forms. Committee members made some suggestions for the forms. The committee then briefly discussed some of the middle school pathways and qualifications for placement. The committee wanted to confirm that new requirements were maintaining or increasing access for all students. The meeting doesn't have further details, but I believe the meeting concluded around 3:30 to 4 p.m. Reading on behalf of Mr. Andrew Finkelstein. Thank you.
Any questions for program? Thank you for jumping in and reading all that, Ms. Shivani. Moving on to other reports, Assistant Superintendent report. Mr. Conley?
Thank you. MHS teacher shout-outs, math and biology class sizes. As a follow-up to my report regarding the class sizes at the high school at the last board meeting, the following truly exemplifies the flexibility, dedication, and collaborative spirit that our MHS teachers have. In response to the recent increase in class size as a result of student mobility, several teachers adjusted their schedules to ensure that every student continues to receive the focus and support they need. In math, Mr. Schroeder has joined Mrs. Thakar's Algebra 2 CPA class to provide co-teaching and in-class assistance, and Ms. Herger is supporting Ms. Coletti's pre-calculus CPA class for the same reason, ensuring that all students receive focused instruction. Both have offered to split their classes into separate sections in Q2 if necessary, an outstanding example of a student-centered planning and teamwork. A special thanks also goes out to the science department and teachers with Mr. Cook, Ms. Clinton, Ms. Cocchiera, and Ms. Paravecchia for their thoughtful coordination in opening an additional section of biology. Your collaboration and commitment to student success are greatly appreciated. New high school library sign-in system. I'd like to recognize Hilton Seibert and MHS student Ayla Dev, Naya Dubé, and Sydney Tavel for developing and implementing a new paperless library sign-in system. The students coded and installed the program on a dedicated desktop, significantly reducing lines during a typical lunch and streamlining the process. We appreciate their initiative and creativity in bringing this innovative improvement to life and look forward to seeing it continue and evolve. And then finally, the fall drama at MHS. The MHS Limelight Players will present Thornton Wilder's Our Town. This timeless play captures everyday life in the small town of Grover's Corner in New Hampshire in the early 1900s, reminding us to cherish the simple moments that life gives. Performances will be held at the Millburn Middle School Auditorium on November 21st and 22nd at 7:30 p.m. and on November 23rd at 2 p.m. Tickets are available now at mhsnj.booktix.com. And just a note that the play will be at the middle school due to the construction on the high school auditorium. Respectfully submitted, John Conley.
Thank you, Mr. Conley. I'd just like to also support that last point. Please come out and see Our Town. We know we put these kids out a little bit by having to perform at the middle school, so the least we can do is pack the auditorium for their performances. Business Administrator Report. Mr. Stars.
Thank you. On tonight's agenda, there are two motions regarding the district's medical insurance plan. As you may know, the district participates in a New Jersey School Employee Health Benefit Program. As you also may be aware, the premiums for this program are set to increase by 29.7% effective January 1st, the fourth straight year of double-digit increases. With this news, the board took to finding alternative medical insurance plans with our insurance broker, Brown & Brown, marketing our claims experience to 8 other funds/carriers. Of those 8 funds/carriers solicited, the district received only one proposal from the School's Health Insurance Fund, otherwise known as the SHIF. The SHIF currently has approximately 140 districts in the plan, has had only one double-digit increase over the past 6 years, and it provides equal to or better coverage with the backing of the Aetna network, which has a 95% provider overlap with the state plan. Based on this, and with the known financial instability of the state plan, we are recommending that the Board of Education terminate our participation in the state plan and accept the proposal from the SHIF and enter their group effective February 1st. Although the cost avoidance is only 3% by moving to the SHIF, future increases are anticipated to be less based on their history, and this move will also allow the district to take more control of their options in the future, as we will have access to detailed experience, which we currently can't receive through the state, and prevented some insurers from submitting a proposal. On a separate topic, at our next board meeting, you will see an emergency purchase and probably a resolution to withdraw from maintenance reserve, as today we had an old heating pipe break at the high school, which services the art wing. Fortunately, the brunt of the work, which is occurring as we meet, is outside in the courtyard area. And the good news is the contractor should have it back operational before school starts tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stars. Student Representative Report. Ms. Dettori.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. As the second quarter begins, Millburn High School continues to stay active with academics, testing, and student events.
This past weekend, the SATs were successfully administered on November 8th, and the process ran smoothly thanks to the coordination of staff and students. Looking ahead, students will participate in the NJSLA practice and field test on November 12th, helping to prepare for future statewide assessments. Today also marked Picture Day for underclassmen, giving students the opportunity to take their portraits for the yearbook and for their student IDs. In addition, college representative visits have continued, providing juniors and seniors valuable chances to learn about different schools and connect directly with admissions officers. A special congratulations goes out to the students who performed in the all-state music ensembles at this weekend's NJEA convention in Atlantic City. Their selection to represent Millburn at the state level is an outstanding accomplishment and a testament to their musical talent. Regarding athletics, it's been another great week for Millburn as our fall teams wrap up their regular seasons and head into postseason play. For girls volleyball, they closed the regular season with a 3-1 win over West Orange, finishing 18-6, and continued their postseason run with straight set wins over Payne Tech, Ridge, and Colonia to advance to the sectional final. As the number 1 seed, they'll host Scotch Plains on Tuesday as they look to defend their title at 3 p.m. For cross country, both the boys and girls cross country teams qualified for the Group 3 championship after top 5 finishes at sectionals. For football, they finished the season on a high note, defeating Roselle 51-14 behind a strong offensive and defensive effort. For boys soccer, they tied Bridgewater 2-2 on senior night and then earned a thrilling 2-1 overtime win over number 7 ranked Chatham with an overtime goal by junior Liam Palma to advance to the sectional semifinals at Cranford tomorrow at 4 p.m. Please come. Thank you and have a great night.
Thank you for that report. Moving on to public comments. Please state your name and address for the record. Public comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Responses to questions and comments will be posted to the district website before the next board meeting or within 10 school days. I have a motion and a second to approve instruction items 1A through 1D. Mr. Farashudin, Mr. Lawrence, any discussion? Roll call agenda items. May I have a motion and a second to approve personnel items 2A through 2B? Ms. Longley Richards? Sure, why not? Mr. Bigman can second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Yes.
Mr. Lawrence? Ms. Longley Richards?
Yes.
Ms. Speltz?
Yes.
Ms. Shivani?
Yes.
Mr. Bigman?
Yes.
Mr. Farashudin?
Yes.
Mr. Heinrichs?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you. Dr. Diskin, do you have comments?
Yes, I would just like to recognize Deborah Zittimer for her 19 years of service for the Millburn Township Public Schools and wish her very well on her retirement in February.
Item 3, business agenda items. May I have a motion and a second to approve business items 3A through 3D? Ms. Longley Richards, Ms. Speltz? Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Longley Richards?
Yes.
Ms. Speltz?
Yes.
Ms. Shivani?
Yes.
Mr. Bigman?
Yes.
Mr. Farashudin?
Yes.
Mr. Lawrence?
Yes.
Mr. Heinrichs?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Item 4, special services agenda items. May I have a motion and a second to approve special service items 4A and 4B? Mr. Farashudin, Mr. Lawrence? Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Speltz?
Yes.
Ms. Shivani?
Yes.
Mr. Bigman?
Yes.
Mr. Farashudin?
Yes.
Mr. Lawrence? Ms. Longley Richards?
Yes.
Mr. Heinrichs?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you. Item 5, policy agenda items. May I have a motion and a second to approve policy item 5A? Ms. Speltz, Mr. Farashudin can second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Shivani?
Yes.
Mr. Bigman?
Yes.
Mr. Farashudin?
Yes.
Mr. Lawrence?
Yes.
Ms. Longley Richards?
Yes.
Ms. Speltz?
Yes.
Mr. Heinrichs?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you. Moving on, is there any old business? Any board member would like to discuss? Mr. Farshuden?
Yes, thank you. I would like to just make a note, this is a momentous occasion for approving the agreement with the MEA, and we would like to congratulate the association, all members, all students, the entire Millburn district for this momentous event. Thank you all for your patience. We got it over the goal line, and I just want to congratulate and thank everyone.
Any other comments? Ms. Longley Richards?
I just wanted to ask very quickly about, again, about the insurance, just making sure that our teachers aren't going to have too much of a hardship with transitioning the insurance to going to a new plan. You said what was the percentage of the,
Like a 95%, 95% overlap.
95% overlap? Okay, so I'm really hopeful, just, and on this night that we're celebrating the contract, that, our teachers are going to be well taken care of. So just making sure.
All right. Any new business? Second round of public comments. Same rules apply as the first round? Okay. Seeing no public comments, moving right on. Any last board member comments? Ms. Speltz?
Mr. Connolly did a wonderful job of explaining it, but I did want to reiterate how much we need to show our appreciation to the teachers, the way that they stepped up to the plate to give our kids the opportunity to be mobile. They were able to try a higher level class and had the opportunity to go back down. I know it was hard. It was a lot of work for them to do. It is going to be a heavy lift for them to do for the rest of the year, but they're doing it, and they are helping our kids make the best of things. So we really appreciate that.
Ms. Shivani?
Yeah, I'll just add to that. Thank you, Ms. Pels. It was on my mind that I had to make a comment about that. I think in addition to the mobility, I mean, just to give a sense of the hard work that it takes, I think there has been a lot of scheduling work, right? Because it's really a traveling salesman kind of a problem. And I don't think any of us felt the pressure of it at all. So I really do appreciate that, and I hope the students got to take advantage of the opportunity, and really, really thankful for all the work that the team is doing. Thanks. And I do want a t-shirt, so.
All right, may I have a motion and a second to adjourn? Mr. Lawrence, Ms. Shivani, all in favor? We are adjourned. Thank you.